The smart lock made this little whirring sound as it reset like something out of a sci-fi movie, and I swear the timing was almost too perfect, because that's exactly when Deborah Langston got caught right there in my foyer, decked out in leopard print leggings, clutching a stack of HOA brochures to her chest, like they were holy writ or maybe subpoenas she couldn't wait to hand out. Community check-in, she chirped, voice way too bright for a woman who'd just broken into my house, sounding like someone trying to sell you a vacuum you never wanted. I just stood there completely calm, maybe even a little too calm for the situation, and tapped my phone so the security system would let out a nice loud ding just to drive the point home. "Cool," I said. Can't help but smirk a little. "You just triggered a felony alert. Police will be here in 6 minutes. Want coffee while you wait?" Yeah, she didn't want coffee. She wanted out, but the door wasn't budging. And too bad for her, I'd already dialed my lawyer. My name's Darren Ellison, retired aerospace engineer, and in my spare time, a sort of home automation nut. I bought this place in Juniper Vale Estates about 6 months ago, a neighborhood advertised as light HOA oversight, which, let me tell you, is realtor code for micromanaged within an inch of its life. The first week here, I made one decision that flipped the script. I declined to join the HOA. I just wanted peace, privacy, and zero involvement in any club that held monthly meetings about shrub symmetry. But see, Deborah, our HOA president, self-declared director of neighborhood wholeness, queen of the clipboard, she took that as a personal insult. Her war against me started over a Ring doorbell of all things, and plot twist, it ended up in a civil courtroom. But let me back up, because you got to appreciate the journey to fully enjoy the destination. 3 days after I moved in, I find my very first violation notice duct taped to my door like she was worried the wind might blow away her masterpiece. "Illuminated doorbell intimidation," she wrote. Turns out my smart doorbell's little blue light was a violation of the neutral ambience policy. I had to laugh. The attachment was 40 pages long, all about aesthetic harmony with guidelines so strict you'd think the neighborhood was run by monks. Any light brighter than a dying firefly, aggressive illumination. I called the HOA office, explained I wasn't a member, so technically none of this applied. Sweet Mrs. Patterson answered. She's maybe 80, voice all whispery. She goes, "Oh, honey, Deborah doesn't really care about membership. She sees herself as sheriff of the block." When I asked to speak to Deborah, Mrs. Patterson whispered, "She's busy reorganizing the flower color approval system." Yeah, that happened. Couple days go by, I get another citation, this time for non-neutral mulch tone. I'd used brown mulch, not the approved beige. They even sent a color chart, 17 shades of beige with names like Whispered Wheat and Humble Oat. I tried to laugh it off, reminded her again I wasn't a member, but Deborah just ramped up. Suddenly, she's inspecting my property, crouched behind my bushes, laser leveling my garden gnome's hat to make sure it didn't break some 3-inch height limit. She started leaving unsolicited improvement suggestions in my mailbox, like blueprints for how to fix my home so it could better harmonize with her vision. She wanted my navy blue door repainted, peaceful porridge, my bird feeder shifted 6 inches, my welcome mat replaced with something more inclusive. I ignored her, hoping she'd get bored. Instead, she activated her so-called intervention protocols. All this came to a head when I installed a new smart lock, facial recognition, brushed steel camera, so sleek you barely notice it unless you're looking for trouble. I programmed it for my family and a couple friends. Didn't occur to me it would also catalog uninvited visitors, but boy did it ever. One day during her wellness check, Deborah tripped the system. The lock's robotic voice piped up, "Unrecognized visitor detected. Please state your business or depart immediately." Deborah lost it. She called the lock. The digital demon said it was scanning souls without consent, threatened to take me to the county board. I told her lock was legal, and once again I still wasn't a member. She wasn't having it. Next thing I know, she's on some campaign of technological sabotage, printing out articles about hacking, pestering her nephew, a part-time computer science student, about breaking into smart homes. The final straw. The system flagged her as a frequent suspicious visitor and filed her photo under potential security threat. She started sliding notes under my door. Smart locks make dumb neighbors. I will enter. Another one in red ink. Your robot door cannot stop community justice. Resistance is futile. Yes, futile, spelled just like that. I photographed them all, labeled the folder evidence of crazy. But honestly, I never expected she'd actually do it. Turns out she held a whole meeting at the community center PowerPoint and everything titled The Smart Lock Menace: How Technology Destroys Neighborhood Trust. Mrs. Patterson went out of curiosity and told me Deborah had my smart lock specs printed out and was ranting about unauthorized biometric surveillance. She finished with a dramatic vow if I didn't remove my lock in 48 hours, she'd take direct action. So fast forward quiet Tuesday, I'm at the store, my phone buzzes. Unauthorized facial entry attempt, HOA plus Karen 453. My system had cataloged her face from all those inspections. I pulled up the feed, and sure enough, there's Deborah in my foyer, decked out in those infamous leggings, pink community first shirt, trying to yank my router out of the wall. I watched it all from the cereal aisle, didn't rush, just let the cameras do their work. Called the cops, then my lawyer, then found my HOA exemption clause, just in case. Cops showed up about 20 minutes later. Deborah's rearranging my doormat binder in hand, shouting about being the gatekeeper of community order, trying to hand the officers her bylaws binder. They were not impressed. She was arrested for breaking and entering trespassing and attempted tampering with a security system. As they put her in the car, she screamed, "This lock is a lie. Real neighbors don't hide behind technology." Meanwhile, the HOA board standing across the street looked like they'd seen a ghost, and I just said, "Oh, I'm not done." The trial thing of beauty. My lawyer, Jennifer Hayes, is sharp as a tack. She walks the jury through the footage Deborah's face, time-stamped, from every unsanctioned visit, the audio of her yelling about the lock, the video of her jabbing at my security system with a screwdriver, and at one point, a rubber mallet. The prosecution lays out her harassment campaign, the notes, the meetings, her community safety excuse. 3 neighbors testifying she was losing it. Deborah's defense, public defender, tried to claim she was acting in good faith as an HOA official. That tanked fast when Jennifer produced my deed showing my explicit HOA exemption. Then came the mental stress defense, which really fell apart when they saw evidence of Deborah's meticulous planning, all the research, the organized meetings, her Google search history on how to bypass smart locks. But the real bombshell was the footage from inside my house. Deborah rummaging through my kitchen drawers, taking photos of my tax returns, muttering, "Community oversight requires thorough investigation." The prosecutor just looked at her and asked, "What HOA business justifies photographing a neighbor's tax return?" Deborah turned so red I thought she'd burst. The judge, tough as nails lady in her 60s, wasn't buying any of it. When Deborah tried to justify breaking in as bold leadership, the judge nearly laughed. Said, "Ma'am, breaking into someone's home is not leadership, it's burglary." The verdict came quick. Guilty on all counts. Hefty fines, mandatory community service, and best part, the HOA banned her from leadership, ordered legal training for the whole board, and Deborah had to clean solar panels at my tech club for 200 hours. As the judge read the sentence, Deborah just collapsed into her chair, white-knuckled, finally realizing this wasn't some HOA skirmish. This was real life, and she'd lost big time. Now, some neighbors call it justice. Others call it overkill. Me, I call it Tuesday in Juniper Vale Estates. So here's the thing, was I protecting my privacy, or did I go too far? Is high-tech security paranoia or just plain sense these days? And when does community leadership cross the line into straight-up criminal? Drop your take in the comments, because trust me, every neighborhood has a Deborah, and sooner or later the smart lock always wins.